Synopsis and critical review of My Ikaria, how the people from a small Mediterranean island inspired me to live a happier, healthier, and longer life by Spiri Tsintziras. My Ikaria, how the people from a small Mediterranean island inspired me to live a happier, healthier, and longer life is a thoughtful blend of memoir, travel narrative, cultural exploration, and lifestyle reflection. Rather than functioning as a conventional diet or nutrition book, Spiri Tsintziras uses her personal journey to reconnect with her ancestral homeland of Ikaria to examine why this small Greek island has become internationally renowned as one of the world's blue zones, regions where people enjoy unusually long, healthy, and active lives. Unlike many longevity books that concentrate almost exclusively on nutrition or biomedical research, Tsintziras adopts a deeply human approach. She seeks to understand not only what Ikarians eat, but also how they live, work, interact, celebrate, and age. Through conversations with villagers, observations of everyday life, and reflections on her own experiences, she gradually uncovers the values and habits that appear to underpin the island's remarkable longevity. The book begins with the author's desire to rediscover her Greek heritage and better understand the stories she heard growing up about Ikaria, the birthplace of her parents and grandparents. Like many members of the Greek diaspora, Tsintziras finds herself balancing the demands of modern urban life with a longing for a slower, more meaningful existence. Her return to Ikaria becomes both a physical journey and a personal exploration of identity, family, and well-being. As she settles into island life, Tsintziras introduces readers to the landscapes, traditions, and people that define Ikaria. Rugged mountains, olive groves, vineyards, terraced farms, and small villages provide the backdrop to a community where life unfolds at a pace very different from that of most industrialized societies. The island's relative geographical isolation has preserved many traditional customs, creating a culture in which relationships, hospitality, and community remain central. Food naturally occupies a prominent place throughout the narrative, but it is never treated in isolation. Tsintziras describes simple meals built around seasonal vegetables, legumes, wild greens, beans, potatoes, whole grains, herbs, olive oil, and locally produced cheese. Fish is eaten in moderation, while meat is reserved largely for festive occasions. Fresh fruit, nuts, and herbal teas are consumed regularly, and many ingredients come directly from home gardens or neighboring farms. Rather than promoting complicated recipes or expensive health foods, the author celebrates the simplicity of traditional Mediterranean cooking. Meals are prepared from fresh ingredients, eaten slowly, and shared with family, neighbors, and friends. Food becomes an expression of generosity, belonging, and cultural identity rather than merely a source of nutrients. One particularly engaging aspect of the book is its vivid portrayal of everyday Ikarian life. Elderly residents continue gardening, farming, walking, baking, and participating in village celebrations well into their 80s and 90s. Rather than withdrawing from society after retirement, older adults remain active contributors to family and community life. This ongoing sense of purpose emerges as one of the recurring themes of the narrative. Tsintziras also explores the importance of social connection. Readers encounter extended family gatherings, communal meals, religious festivals, local music, and spontaneous celebrations that strengthen interpersonal relationships. Loneliness, increasingly recognized as a major public health concern in modern societies, appears comparatively uncommon within traditional Ikarian communities. The author suggests that these strong social bonds contribute as much to longevity as dietary habits. Another recurring theme is the island's relaxed relationship with time. Ikarians place relatively little emphasis on rigid schedules, productivity metrics, or constant busyness. Afternoon rests, leisurely conversations, evening gatherings, and unhurried meals are woven naturally into daily life. Tsintziras contrasts this slower rhythm with the stress, time pressure, and chronic overwork that characterize many contemporary urban lifestyles. The natural environment also plays an important role. Walking through mountainous terrain, tending gardens, and performing everyday manual tasks provide regular physical activity without the need for formal exercise programs. Physical movement is integrated into ordinary life rather than compartmentalized into gym sessions or structured workouts. One of the book's greatest strengths is its authenticity. Tsintziras does not present herself as a nutrition scientist or longevity researcher. Instead, she writes as a curious observer seeking to understand how an ancient culture might offer valuable lessons for modern living. Her personal reflections give the narrative warmth and emotional depth, making the book accessible to readers who might find more scientific texts intimidating. The author's writing is engaging, descriptive, and reflective. She skillfully interweaves family history, travel experiences, interviews, cultural observations, and discussions of health, without allowing any single element to dominate the narrative. Readers gain not only an appreciation of Ikarian cuisine, but also a richer understanding of Greek culture and the enduring importance of tradition. From a scientific perspective, many of the lifestyle characteristics described in the book are consistent with contemporary research on healthy aging. Diets rich in vegetables, legumes, olive oil, and minimally processed foods are associated with reduced risks of cardiovascular disease, diabetes, and certain cancers. Likewise, regular physical activity, strong social relationships, restorative sleep, and psychological well-being are widely recognized as important contributors to health span and lifespan. However, the book should not be regarded as a scientific manual on longevity. Tsintziras occasionally refers to research concerning blue zones and Mediterranean diets, but her primary objective is storytelling rather than critical analysis of biomedical evidence. Readers seeking detailed discussions of epidemiology, nutritional biochemistry, or geoscience will need to consult works by researchers such as Walter Longo, Bradley J. Wilcox, Luigi Fontana, or Dan Buettner. Another limitation arises from the tendency, common to much Blue Zone literature, to romanticize traditional societies. Although Ikaria continues to enjoy an international reputation for longevity, the island has not remained untouched by globalization. Younger generations increasingly consume processed foods, use motor vehicles more frequently, and adopt more sedentary lifestyles than their grandparents. Consequently, the traditional lifestyle portrayed in the book represents an ideal that is gradually changing rather than a universal contemporary reality. Some readers may also find that the narrative occasionally prioritizes atmosphere over practical instruction. Unlike a cookbook or structured lifestyle guide, My Ikaria offers relatively few concrete dietary programs or step-by-step health recommendations. Instead, it invites readers to reflect upon broader questions concerning balance, contentment, community, and the meaning of a well-lived life. Yet this characteristic also distinguishes the book from many commercial health publications. Tsintziras avoids sensational claims, miracle diets, and exaggerated promises of extreme longevity. She repeatedly acknowledges that no single food or habit can guarantee a long life. Rather, longevity emerges from the cumulative effects of numerous small, sustainable practices maintained over decades. Perhaps the book's most important contribution lies in shifting attention away from longevity as merely extending years of life towards improving the quality of those years. The elderly Ikarians encountered by the author are not simply surviving longer. Many continue to enjoy independence, purpose, friendship, curiosity, and participation in community life. This distinction between lifespan and health span reflects one of the central insights of contemporary longevity research. The memoir also resonates on a deeply personal level. Tsintziras' exploration of ancestry, migration, and cultural identity reminds readers that health is shaped not only by biology, but also by belonging, memory, and connection to place. Her reflections encourage readers to consider how modern life might be enriched by reclaiming forgotten traditions, preparing meals from scratch, spending more time outdoors, and nurturing meaningful relationships. Overall, My Ikaria, How the People from a Small Mediterranean Island Inspired Me to Live a Happier, Healthier, and Longer Life, is an engaging, thoughtful, and beautifully written exploration of one of the world's most celebrated longevity cultures. Although it is not a scientific textbook, it succeeds in translating the lessons of Ikaria into an inspiring narrative that combines memoir, travel writing, cultural history, and practical lifestyle wisdom. Readers seeking rigorous nutritional science should complement it with more evidence-based works such as The Blue Zones, the Okinawa Program, The Longevity Diet, or How Not to Age. However, For those wishing to understand the human, cultural, and emotional dimensions of longevity, Tsintziras' book offers a rich and rewarding perspective. It reminds us that living well involves much more than eating well. It requires community, purpose, moderation, gratitude, and a deep appreciation for the ordinary pleasures that sustain a meaningful life.
The author has placed this work in the public domain. It may be freely imported, exported, shared, distributed, edited, modified, or reformatted without explicit consent from the author. As a visually impaired person, the author asserts his rights under the Marrakesh Treaty to facilitate access to published works for persons who are blind, visually impaired, or otherwise print disabled. 2013, wipo.int.
August, it'll go up to 200 ringgit. Thank you.
How to attend Aislan Adnan's Meet the Author Luncheon at the Hungry Tapir, 135 Petaling Street, Kuala Lumpur. Short walking distance from the Pasar Seni MRT LRT station. From 12:30 hours, Saturday, 5th September 2026.
Step 1. Download all my 30+ books on nutrition for free from Z Library using this URL. However, there is a limit of 10 downloads a day from Z Library. The workaround is to download them, and 2,250 plus others, from my Optimal Health Community Telegram broadcast channel at EPUB Electronic Publishing. All my free ebooks are published in .epub electronic publishing format. If you are still living in the dark ages and only know .pdf, portable document format, and never heard of .epub, don't worry. You are about to have a mind-blowing experiential learning journey. If you use an Apple device, .epub files open in the Books app. If you are an Android user, use Universal Book Reader or a similar app. If you need further instructions on how to read .epub documents, just ask your favorite AI app to teach you. If you have never used an AI app before, start with Grok, Gemini, or ChatGPT. Then move on to DeepSeek, Claude, or Kling later.
Step 2. I have put all my books in the public domain, and you may share them freely. In fact, I strongly implore you to do so. Viralize them, make sure they reach every person who needs the knowledge contained in them. In Malaysia, the most recent data from the National Health and Morbidity Survey 2023 shows that 21.8% of adults are obese and 32.6% are overweight. This means the total combined rate is 54.4% of adults. Scary huge percentages of Malaysians are diabetic or suffer from other non-communicable diseases, NCDs. To be specific, in Malaysia, about 15.5% of adults have chronic kidney disease, CKD, up from 9.1% in 2011. Around 21.4% of adults aged 30 and above are at high risk of cardiovascular disease, CVD. Among older adults, about 8.5% have dementia, equating to roughly 260,000 people as of 2022. A nation is only as strong as its human capital. How strong can a nation be if more than half its population is fat, sick, and nearly dead? Of what good can you be to your family if you are fat, sick, and nearly dead? You owe it to yourself to be the best version of yourself that you can possibly be.
Step 3. Read the books, follow whatever advice that makes sense to you. If something doesn't make sense to you, or causes cognitive dissonance, you can ask me clarifying questions on the 5th of September. Also, be prepared to report on the 5th of September what improvements in your health you have noticed. So far, one person has seen her total cholesterol level drop from always above 5 to 4.6. Another has resolved a chronic constipation issue. I have written 2 books on human stool classification and stool analysis. Another person who wakes up every morning with a white layer of mucus on her tongue for more than half her life now wakes up with a clear tongue. Step 4. Make the minimum donation by the required dates. The longer you prevaricate, the higher the minimum donation gets. Minimum donation per pax. 100 ringgit for donations received by June 30th, 150 ringgit for donations received by July 31st, 200 ringgit for donations received by August 31st, 500 ringgit for donations received by the 5th of September and for walk-ins. Places are limited. However, I do not wish to deprive anyone. If enough people register, we can take over the whole restaurant, so make your donations early to reserve your place. Purpose: your donations will go towards sponsoring persons with disability, PWD, to attend the event and also towards my various ongoing eye treatments. Sponsorship: if you run a business and wish to promote your business, you can sponsor door gifts, gift vouchers, or even cash.
A writer and researcher in nutrition science, Aslan has authored dozens of books on plant-based bioactives, antioxidants, and the chemistry of whole foods. In this session, he will lead a dynamic Ask Me Anything on nutrition session. All 30 of his nutrition books are in the public domain and are downloadable at the link below. Attendees must read these books in advance and come prepared with their questions. This is a singular chance to engage with one of today's leading independent nutrition thinkers. Don't miss it. A healthy, whole food, plant-based lunch with the menu curated by Aslan Adnan will be served. No need to write your name in the reference of the bank transfer, as it will automatically be displayed, but include your phone number in case we need to contact you for any last-minute changes.
We will also celebrate Aslan's 68th birthday.
Some of you have been wondering why a YouTube channel devoted to green political philosophy and ideology would address health issues. The stark facts are these. Data from the National Health and Morbidity Survey in Malaysia 2023 shows that 54.4% of adults are either overweight or obese, with 32.6% classified as overweight and 21.8% as obese. Abdominal obesity, per Rogbo Roy, was also reported at 54.5%. Compared to 2011, the combined prevalence of overweight and obesity has increased from 44.5% to 54.4%. According to the same survey, 15.6% of adults in Malaysia have been diagnosed with diabetes, kencing manis. Additionally, about 21.4% of Malaysian adults aged 30 and above have a high 10-year calculated risk of developing cardiovascular disease, CVD, sakit jantung. In Malaysia, precise prevalence data for diagnosed CVD is somewhat limited. Data from 2010 to 2021 indicated that 16.6% of all registered deaths were due to CVD. A 2015 survey found that 14.1% of working-age adults had diabetes, 24.5% had hypertension, and 45.9% had high cholesterol. The World Heart Federation also noted in 2022 that around 11% of deaths in Malaysia are linked to CVD. In 2011, the prevalence of chronic kidney disease, CKD, sakit buah pinggang, was 9.07%. A nationwide study in Malaysia in 2018 estimated that 15.48% of adults, over 5 million people, have CKD. It really is alarming. These numbers are striking, especially when you consider how rapidly they have grown over just a decade. It is a massive public health challenge. In light of these statistics, the implications for nation building and capacity building are stark. What value does a nation have if more than half its population are fat, sick, and nearly dead?
Are you fat, sick, and nearly dead? Well, if you think you're overwhelmed, you don't know where to start with this book. And then as you progress, you can, go deeper, take a deep dive into the other books. And if you want to meet me to discuss what you've read in the books, you have a chance in September to do so. However, there are 5 places already been taken up, and there are limited seats, so the sooner you register, the sooner you'll reserve a place for yourself. Attendance is by donation, so details are in the video.
Important note on event registration fees. Normal registration. Donation received between the 1st and the 31st of August 2026. Minimum donation of 200 ringgits. Late registration. Donation received between 1st to 5th September 2026. Minimum donation of 500 ringgits. All proceeds after deducting third-party costs will go towards Aslan Adnan's various ongoing eye treatments to hopefully reverse or at least arrest his macular degeneration, cataracts, photophobia, mydriasis, dry eyes, and etc. This is mission critical as, if his vision fails, he'll no longer be able to produce, edit, or upload videos. Your voluntary contributions and donations are a critical success factor. As such, your generosity, empathy, compassion, and kindness are well and truly appreciated. We thank you in advance for your invaluable help and assistance in making this event a resounding success.
About the author. Aslan Adnan, M.A., is a writer and independent researcher whose work focuses on nutrition science, food systems, and the biological foundations of human health. His writing examines how natural foods contain complex compounds that interact with human physiology in ways that may support long-term well-being. He has a particular interest in plant-based bioactive compounds such as polyphenols, carotenoids, flavonoids, and other phytochemicals found in fruits, vegetables, herbs, spices, algae, and fungi. His research explores how these compounds function in plants and how they may influence human nutrition when consumed as part of a balanced diet. Aslan approaches nutrition from a multidisciplinary perspective, drawing on biochemistry, plant biology, and public health nutrition. His work aims to translate complex scientific concepts into clear explanations so that readers can better understand the nutritional value of everyday foods. He is the author of several books examining natural sources of antioxidants and other dietary compounds. Author of the antioxidant series, Antioxidants in Herbs and Spices, Antioxidants in Algae, Microalgae, and Fungi, Antioxidants in Fruits and Vegetables, Antioxidants in Nuts and Seeds, Antioxidants in Berries. Author of the Nutrient Series, Macronutrients, Volume 1, Carbohydrates, Macronutrients, Volume 2, Lipids, Macronutrients, Volume 3, Proteins, Micronutrients, Vitamins, Trace Elements, and Minerals, Anti-nutrients, the hidden blockers in your food, Phytonutrients, the quiet power of plants, Water, the forgotten fourth, a macronutrient you can't ignore. Other books on health and nutrition. Tuber's briefing paper, 2nd edition. Aslan's 5-Powder Manifesto. Eating the Greek Way, how cultural habits support health without trying. Ideology on a Plate, how Robert F. Kennedy Jr. turned U.S. dietary guidelines into a scientific farce. Maslow in 2026, a practical guide to actual needs, not scrollable wishes. These works form part of an ongoing series exploring the chemistry, biological roles, and nutritional significance of bioactive compounds in plant foods. Through his writing, Aslan advocates a practical food-first approach to nutrition. His work emphasizes whole foods, dietary diversity, and balanced eating patterns, rather than reliance on isolated nutrients or supplements. He holds a Master of Arts in International Business and Management from the University of Westminster in London, and writes extensively on nutrition science, health, and food-based approaches to long-term well-being. Aslan Adnan, the quiet revolutionary of real food writing. Aslan Adnan, M.A., is a Malaysian polymath who spent decades turning food into philosophy. Raw, unfiltered, no hype. You won't find him pushing superfoods or miracle diets. He dissects what actually works. Whole plants, spices, microbes, and the quiet chemistry that keeps bodies humming. With over 30 books, self-published, shared freely on Z Library, Facebook groups, Telegram channels, Aslan's output is prolific. Part manifesto, part manual. Early works like Spring Has Sprung, a psychological thriller, and travelogues On the Road to the East Coast reveal his roots in journalism, advertising, and storytelling. But nutrition became his mission. Educated with a Master of Arts in International Business and Management from the University of Westminster, London, he taught at the School of Management, Royal Holloway, London, while pursuing doctoral research in business strategy and environmental management, specializing in the international timber trade. That academic backbone, rigor, systems thinking, sustainability, bleeds into his food writing. No fluff, just evidence. The core series, the Macronutrients Trilogy, Volume 1 on carbohydrates, glucose, fiber, metabolism, Volume 2 on lipids, fats, omega-3s, inflammation, Volume 3 on proteins, repair, enzymes, muscle. Then micronutrients, water, and anti-nutrients, the plant world's double-edged sword. Anti-nutrients are naturally occurring compounds in whole foods, phytates, oxalates, lectins, goitrogens, that can bind minerals, block enzymes, or mess with absorption. They evolved as plant defenses, but in us, they steal iron from spinach, calcium from kale, or spike gut irritation from raw beans. Variety wins. 30 plants a week, not monodiets. Raw's romantic, but cooked smarter. Add spice blends like Aslan's 5-Powder Manifesto, turmeric mixes for real anti-inflammation, and you've got a library that says, eat wide, not weird. Why release it all into the public domain? Because knowledge isn't currency. It's oxygen. Aslan watched corporations gatekeep health, paywalls on papers, patented supplements, proprietary blends that hide what works. He refuses. His books aren't for sale. They're for spread. No DRM, no ads, no ego. Just files anyone can download, print, share. He says it plain. If one person in a kampong swaps white rice for brown or steams kailan instead of boiling it, that's the win, not royalties. He's no gatekeeper. His Facebook, Aslan Green Party, Instagram, and YouTube drop bite-sized truths. Traffic light WFPB guides, eye health talks on looting, vegan journeys. He credits tradition, curries, forest mushrooms, seaweed from tides, and lives it. Unpeeled carrots, home ferments, no moralizing. 30-plus titles aren't about volume. They're depth. Carbs to phytonutrients, water to gut bugs. Aslan doesn't sell health. He hands you the tools. Read him and your plate changes. Not because you're broken, because you're built for better.
Don't forget to hit that subscribe button to show your support. Share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel to show your support.